Hi, everybody. This is Virginia Milner coming to you for the DeKalb County Library System. I've moved things around here and I'm getting a really, really terrible glare of my glasses. If I do like this, I can't see it. So I'm not being coy. I'm just trying to get away from the glare. Anyway, we have another program today, and I thought we would do something, since it's National Craft Month, I thought we would do something that we can do that's handmade. Um, in a very, very previous video, I've showed you how to make paper beads, and we're going to use some paper beads today. Full disclosure, I did not make these paper beads. I got these from Ghana, but I wanted to show you something different that you can do with paper beads when you make them. I also have done a little research, and I've discovered that big and bold seems to be the thing this year. So we're going to go ahead and try to follow that trend a little bit and do some things that are a little bit larger. Anybody who knows me knows I love unique links, and I found um, a designer who made these really cute links into a bracelet. Her name is Crystal Witt, and I thought those links were so great that I decided to kind of use them for a bracelet that we could make. I'm not doing it the same way that she did her bracelet. Hers were very small crystals that she used, I think 6 millimeter maybe. And because we're trying to go a little bigger and bolder, our paper beads mine are about twice that size. So not quite twice. I think mine are between 8 and 10, but they're a little bit bigger than hers. But I've changed around her pattern considerably. Basically, all I used was her links and then made it into a pattern on my own so that we can have something that you can make from top to bottom. You can make your own beads and then you can use those beads to make a bracelet. Or you do not have to use paper beads for this. You can use any beads that you would like to make this bracelet. So it is very minimalist as far as materials. You will need 20 gauge wire, beads, some jump rings, and a lobster clasp. That's it. You'll need your usual tools, which in this case will be round nose pliers. The barrels are round all the way around. They start larger at the bottom and taper to almost a tip at the end. Then we have our square nose pliers that are slightly rounded on the outside, but completely flat on the inside. And people get a little confused when they say pick up your round nose pliers because of the slight roundness of these pliers. But if you put them side by side with the round ones, you can definitely see the difference. When you're buying these in the store, make sure you look for those that don't have those little grips on the inside. Those grips are great if you want some extra help holding wire, but if you're using soft wire like we usually do, that can also damage it. So you want to make sure that you get the ones that are completely flat and smooth on the inside. Somebody told me it's kind of hard to tell if you're ordering it online, but usually they'll have several pictures. You can zoom in and see whether or not there are ridges on the inside. And if you can't see it on one, go to another. I'm sure somebody has the pictures. The third thing that you're going to need is a pair of wire cutters, and that is self-explanatory. You're going to cut your wire with these cutters. And the last thing that you need is a ruler so that you can measure your 20 gauge wire. So let's go ahead and get down here to the mat and get started on our piece. Okay, the first thing that I have done is cut 2 pieces of 20 gauge wire that are about 2¼ inches long. Now, whatever size I need this size because I need to accommodate my rather large beads. So I need enough leg span to accommodate my beads. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. Let me see. I think I have one over here that I can show you that we're going to do. So this is what we're doing. And we're going to do 2 of them back to back. and these need to be able to go side by side in between them. So for my purposes, I need 2¼ inches. Now, you can use smaller ones and still have that same amount of spread. It just depends on that same amount of spread between your loops. It just depends on the look that you're after. So I got my first piece of 2¼ inch wire. What I'm going to do is just put it right here in between my pliers. I want to go to right in the middle of my wire at the back of my pliers, like so. And then I'm going to bring these wires down and together. Oh my goodness, somebody's texting the heck out of my phone. Let me just turn that off. Sorry about that. People, for some reason, it always happens when I'm trying to do this. Okay, now, sorry, Ian. Okay, so I'm bringing these two wires down side by side. Clearer. And I can see one of these is a little longer than the other. So I'm going to go over to that side where that one is and pull the other one a little bit, or roll the other one, roll it over until they're both about the same length. There we go. Now I'm going to check my positioning again. I'm almost at the back of my pliers because I want a nice sized loop. And then I'm going to cross these two wires over. Cross one and the other until I have a nice little loop. And a little loop. Yeah. Make this up a little bit. There, that's better. And let's put that back on there. Let's get my nice loop here. There. So there's my loop on the one side. Now I'm looking at this, and when you're first doing this, you might want to measure everything. So I'm checking to see if I have the same distance on both sides. And this looks pretty good. I'm just eyeballing it. So this one might be a smidge shorter. So I'm going to do this side first and see what it looks like. So what I'm going to do now is take the tip of one of my wires and go down not quite halfway down, maybe a third of the way down my pliers. Now, I just want to qualify that by saying all pliers are not created equal. And I say this a lot, meaning that the barrels are not necessarily going to be the same on each one. I don't. But depending on what brand you buy, that will determine how big your these little prong things are. So you might want to, you're going to have to use your own judgment and experiment a little bit to see what size loops you get out of your pliers. So I'm going to go about a third of the way down my pliers. Make sure that the tip of my wire isn't sticking out on this side. And I'm going to make a loop going towards this loop up here. So I'm going to give it a little turn, holding onto the wire so that it doesn't move, open my pliers up, reposition them back, give it another small turn, and I'm going to keep doing that until until the tip touches the rest of my wire, and that gives me my loop. There we go. And I want it just touching the other wire. I don't want it sticking out on the side. So let's go to the other side and do the same thing. I'm going to go about a third of the way down my pliers. Check. Oh, see, if that moves, or you can feel it, and it's sticking out. There we go. And I want to make sure that I'm rolling this towards the large loop that's in the center. I can still feel that. Let's move that down. There we go. And let's make our loop. Small turn, open, reposition, clamp down, and I'm holding onto the wire the whole time so that it doesn't shift too much. And there we go. Now I can see that this side is a little longer than that side. So how do I fix that? I'm just going to go in with my pliers and rotate, just taking away some from this side and giving it to that side. So let's do that. And then straighten out my little legs till I have a little X. I have a little bump right there. Let's get rid of that. Make it nice and straight. And just play with it until it looks the way you want. So there's my one. Let's do another one. This one still looks a little bit smidge longer. And really, you just kind of play with it until it does what you want it to do. There, much better. Okay, let's do one more. And I always push it down so that nothing's popping up on one side or the other. Want it nice and flat. All right, let's do another one. Grab my wire, slide back here near the back. Make sure that try to get it as close to center as you can. Again, you can take your ruler and measure if you're more comfortable doing that until you get to the point where you feel like you can just eyeball it. Pull those down, check. See, a little bit longer on one side. I do that every time. Let's roll this one over until they're about the same. So a little bit more. There we go. Much better. There. This is a little tiny longer, but that's not a big deal. So I'm going to go ahead and cross my wires over until I have my loop. Okay, that's one. Step number, I don't know what step that was. Yeah, this is a little bit longer. Let's try to straighten that out before I go any further. Just give this one some more wire and take some away from the other one. And the other thing you can always do is cut a little bit if you have any to spare. Much better. There we go. So let's go ahead and make my other loop on one side. Going a third of the way down my pliers. Nothing sticking out there. Hold on to my wires, especially at the loop. It's much easier to hold on to it there. And rotate until my little tip touches the rest of my wire. Here we go. Nice. Got a little curve there. Let's straighten that out. Nice. Let's go to the other side and do the same thing. Now, if for some reason, let me make sure that's closed. If I can get my fingernail in there, it's not closed all the way. If for some reason that you have to put this down and go somewhere and do something and come back, and then you go, wait, where was it on my pliers? Just go ahead and stick the one that's already done into your pliers so you know how far back to go. And just repeat that on the other side. Okay, make my loop. go. And check see what I've got here. Straighten that out. Nice. And then check it with the other one because you want them to kind of match up. There we go. Yes. And these guys are going to go in between on each side. Ah, okay, so the next thing I need to do is push that flat. Yes, is make this into a link. Isn't that beautiful? That is really shellacked. That is a gorgeous one and a beautiful color. Okay, stop admiring the bead. Okay, so what I need for this is enough wire to go through the bead and have 1/2 inch on each side. So I cut about 1.5 inches, I think. Yes, I have 1.5 inches because this is maybe, it's about 8 millimeters, 10 millimeters. Yeah, ooh, yeah, this is a big one. Yeah, it's about 10 millimeters, which is about 15. Let's see what that actually is. It's about 3/8 of an inch. So yes, I easily have 1/2 inch on each side. I'm going to show you two different ways to make the loop a centered loop. The first way is to just start with your wires straight. I'm going to go 1/3 of the way back on my pliers, just like I did on my other loop. And I'm going to rotate until the tip touches the rest of the wire, just like I did for the other one. So you'll see that I have kind of a P shape for my wire. My loop is off on the side of the straight wire. I thought I turned that off. Oh, that's somebody else. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back on my pliers. And I'm going to just tilt the wire back. I'm just going to give it a bend. Boom. Just like that. So now I have centered my loop. It's right there in the center. Yay. And that's what I want. So let's go ahead and there we go, flatten it, put it on my bead. And I'm going to make a loop on the other side. I can see this is a little longer than I want, a little more than 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut it down a bit. And you want to block that little tip from going anywhere. You don't want it flying off across the room if you can avoid it. So the second way that you can make your loop, once I have it on my bead, is to bend it over to the side and then make my loop. If I start my loop with a straight piece of wire, the loop will end up on the side and I'll need to bend it back in order to get it centered. But if I start with a bend in the first place, it will end up on the top. So let's go ahead and do that. 1/3 of the way down my pliers, rotate until my tip touches the rest of my wire, and I have a nice centered loop. Ta-da! And I want both of my wires, both of my loops go in the same direction. So if one is slightly off from the other one, just turn it until they're both going the same way. This is very malleable wire, so it's very easy to do. All right. So now I've got another one of these already. We're going to hook them to this little guy and make a nice little unit. So what I'm going to do is open up one of my beads. I find it easier to use the square wire with the round wire when I'm opening and closing so it doesn't slip as much as it would if I was using the round pliers. So in order to open this, I'm just going to open it up to the side, sort of like I'm flipping a top, not pulling it apart, because once you pull it apart, it's very hard to get it pushed back together. So if you just flip that open, grab your wire link, slide it on, And because this is so close to the bead, you might want to hold on to the bottom to keep this from slipping down, and then you can't get your wire in there. So just pull that up, hold it, push the loop on the bottom towards the bead, and slide that in. Or better still, just open it a little more. Okay. Slide that on and close my loop. Just twist it back the opposite direction, just like we did when we put it on. And then the other one, put on the other side. Twist open, slide it on, and twist closed. Okay, nice. Now we need to put it on the other side. Okay. Twist open. And slide it on. And twist closed. And because this needs to fall a certain way, I always put it back down in between to make sure everything's laying properly. So that needs to be flat, that needs to be flat, and this needs to slide directly in. Let's see which way my loop is going. There it is. Slide that in. You can also open up the wire link if you want to. Ooh, look at that. There's a little flaw in my bead. Come on, get in there. It does not want to get out. You have to. You have to get in there. It's just spinning around. Come on. Come in. Gee whiz. Okay, and close that. I'm going to show you this little flaw in just a minute. See that? It looks like another little piece of paper got caught on there. Or maybe that's from the actual bead that didn't get shellacked or painted or whatever. Interesting. Sometimes that provides a little character. Now I need to check and make sure everything's falling the way I want it to, or hanging the way I want it to. It needs to be nice and flat. Okay, that needs to go this way, that needs to go this way, and hang down. Looks a little off. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to take this off again because it needs to be flat. This one's good. This one looks twisted. Let's see if I can change that around. Yeah, no, it does not want to work. So let me take that off of there. And see what's happening. All right. That's good. It's hanging down, straight down. That one's hanging. Ah, there we go. Yeah, that's twisted. Let's keep off of there. Turn you around and put you on the other one. Yes. That needs to go. There we go. So when you do this, you just want to check and make sure everything's hanging correctly. Is that right? Still seems a little off. I don't think it is. Yeah, that's good. Lay this down so you can see what we got. I don't know, it still seems a little off to me. Let me see. Oh, no, it's fine. It was just because it was hanging in the air. Goodness gracious. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is put one of these beads on the end to link it to the rest of the bracelet. Okay, so I'm going to open this up, off to the side again, attach it to my large loop in the center, and close. And then, so this is what we have, isn't that neat? So then I have the rest of this done. So we're going to attach it to the wrist bracelet. E. So I'm going to open that up and attach and close. Make sure those tips are touching the rest of the wire because you don't want to lose one of your links. Here we go. Let's get this laid out. And there's your bracelet. Isn't that neat? It's very, I don't know, it's very architectural, I guess I should say, and just very unique. Let's finish it up. We need to put the lobster clasp on. I have one, yes, I do, but I don't think I have enough jump rings. Let me go get another couple of jump rings and I'll be right back. Okay, now I have my jump rings. All right. So what I'm going to do now is attach a jump ring on the end so that we can attach it. The jump ring is going to go here, or the lobster claw is going to go here, and we're going to attach it in this large loop over here. Still getting these texts. I need to shut this down. Driving me nuts. Should have done that in the beginning. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up a jump ring, and the proper way to open it is to find your little opening, which is right there. You can see it right there. And what I'm going to do is use another pair of pliers to open it. I've got so many noises going on right now. So I'm going to use another pair of pliers. There's my little opening. I'm going to hold it with the square pliers facing in towards the loop. And the round pliers are lining up on the side, not in, because what happens is I see people doing this and then they end up with the round pliers going inside and they end up making a little mangled mess of their jump ring. So if you line the round pliers up so that the tip is pointing towards the opening like that, and then you can just twist it and you don't end up with a mangled up mess. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to add my jump ring, my lobster clasp, and both of these other two jump rings. Now, I like two jump rings to connect. And when by I mean a double jump ring, two jump rings connecting at the same point. Just because number one, I like the look of it, And number two, I like the security of it. I feel like it just gives it more, more security. If one fails, the other will take over. So I've got that on there. I'm going to close that up. And now I'm going to attach these two jump rings to the end, the last bead. So I'm going to open up the loop on that bead. Again, flip top. And then I'm going to slide both of these two jump rings that are hanging down at the bottom onto the bead loop, like that. There. So both of these jump rings are inside the loop that's on the bead. And I'm going to twist it closed again. And there we have it. There's my bracelet. Isn't that neat? That is so different. And this is going to just hook right into that last little link. Let's try it on to see what looks like. I know I want to see. Okay. Oh, got that. Almost finished. Okay. All right, there it is. Please ignore this mark on my arm. It looks terrible. But there is my bracelet. All right. It is very different. There it is. So what you want to do is just make as many of these links as you can with the beads that you have, and then just make a little bead, a little jump ring chain if you need to extend it. And the other thing that you can do is these little, I call them little legs. You can turn them, not turn them, but kind of push the little loops on the side closer to the loops at the top. For instance, right there, there's a really long one. I could push it closer to the top to shorten the bracelet if I wanted to. But this is it. It really does look architectural. I think I said that before. And I really like it. And I think it fills the brief of being a little bit bolder. There it is. It doesn't match anything that I'm wearing since I'm wearing purple, and this is a very bright blue. But there's my bracelet. I really like this. It's something I don't think you're going to see anybody else wearing because it is totally unique. So, this is our piece for the day. I hope that you like it, and I hope that you'll let me know one way or the other. I really prefer, I don't know why I'm looking at double pictures of myself. I don't need that. Go away. The Zoom site has a tendency to change the way things are projected regularly. Well, not regularly. It's been a while and it just really throws me off every time. I'm like, what is happening? Sorry, you don't need to know all of that. So anyway, this is our piece. I hope that you'll let me know what you think or what you thought of this um, particular piece that we've made. I'd like to know how you think the tutorial went. I have changed my location. I got a smaller table and now I'm right in front of a window. I'm trying to get used to the light. But I hope it worked out better for everybody who's trying to view these videos and follow along. I keep looking at it. So let me know what you think, good or bad, and why. You can get in contact with me. You can leave pictures. Please send me pictures. I love seeing your pictures when you make these things from the tutorials, whether you get kits and use what's in the kits or whether you use what you have at home. You can send me pictures and leave me comments at jewelrygen20@gmail.com. That's JEWELRYGIN20@gmail.com. You can leave pictures and comments on the DeKalb County Library Facebook page. That's facebook.com/DeKalb Library. That's DeKalb Library. Or you can leave comments only on the DeKalb County Library YouTube page, which is youtube.com/DeKalb County Public Library. You have to write out the whole thing. DeKalb COUNTYPUBLIC and I hope to hear from you. But in the meantime, I hope you have a great week and a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.